Hey, JoJo here. Story time. So, back when I was at the police agency, 5 years prior to my retirement, I used to work in the southern area of my agency. And in the area of my agency, there was a lot of new development. In particular, there was this one area that was under development, and there was a lot of new homes that were already built, but it was a large area that wasn't. It was a former farm, and I don't want to give the name of the area because then it'll probably give you the name of the person that's involved in the story. But I'm just trying to paint a picture. So in this area, we have a lot of large homes that have already been built, but there's a lot of unbuilt homes and a lot of new construction homes. But in this particular area, there was a woman and a family, I should say, that had a house in this area. The house was already built, and it was jokingly that this house was the big house of the area. So one of the things that I was responsible for was to patrol these areas that were newly developed to deter any um, thefts of items from the houses that are under construction, like appliances. You wouldn't believe how many appliances are in unlocked homes, but I was responsible for doing that. So this one particular night, I hung out in this one area, and I want to say it was around 12 o'clock in the morning. It was probably 2 hours right before my shift ended. So I hung out there listening to the radio, being in the area to deter anyone from being in the area. And I'm not gonna lie, I was watching Netflix. So I'm just chilling, making sure nothing pops off in my area, just chilling. And as I'm there, I see movement. And at the time, I'm not thinking it's a big thing because this area is known to be really safe, and some people were known to walk out around 10 o'clock at night to walk their dogs. So, although it was midnight, I really didn't think anything of it. But I see movement, and I see a couple of dogs with a couple of people. Hey, they're walking their dogs late at night. I'm sure they're not going to rob the place with their dogs or burglarize places with their dogs. So I'm paying attention to the movement, and it's far away at first, and I'm still listening to the radio and watching whatever I'm watching on Netflix, but I'm chill. Then I noticed that the movement is getting closer to me. I'm like, okay, uh, I don't know why it's getting closer, but it's getting closer. And one of the things we did, or I did as an officer, is at night I turned my lights off because I wanted to be able to see around me at dark, to have my eyes adjusted to the light, and I didn't want anyone to come towards me if they noticed that lights were on. But apparently, whoever these people were at the time, they noticed my vehicle, and I'm assuming it was from the street lights, and my vehicle was probably getting reflected from the street lights, which was down the hill from where I was. So the people are getting closer, they're getting closer. So I turn on all of my lights with the exception of my 360s. And if you don't know what 360s are, those are the red and blue lights that turn around. I turn on all of my white lights to whoever was walking towards me to let them know, look, it's a cop car, you need to step back or you need to proceed with caution. Another thing I did, and some officers probably do, I removed my gun, and my gun was at that time on my lap, in my hand on my lap. So I don't know what's popping off or what's going to happen, but these people are getting closer. As they're getting closer, I can distinguishly see that it's a man and a woman. I'm assuming a husband and wife with two giant poodles. The wife is holding the poodles um, leashes in both her hands. I can see the husband's hands, they're by his side. Another thing that you pay attention to, you want to make sure that you know what the hands are doing. So when I turn my lights on, The husband stops immediately. I want to say maybe he was about 15, 20 feet away. I think he realized immediately once I turned my lights on, oh, it's a cop car. The wife did it. I don't know what the hell she was thinking, but she kept approaching the car. So again, I don't know if it's safe. So now my gun is no longer on my lap. My gun is pointing towards the side of the car door because I don't know what her intentions are because she didn't stop. He did. I still got to keep an eye on him, but now I got to really pay attention to her. So I roll my window down and she asks me, what am I doing here? Now, mind you, there have been complaints from this community and from the people that are constructing the site that are people stealing items from the site. So I'm where I'm supposed to be. But this woman had the nerve to question me, what am I doing here? And I thought it immediately, I thought that was odd. Not, oh, thank you for coming. Thank you for hanging out here. Thank you for deterring the people from stealing and all of that stuff. No, her question was, what are you doing here? So I was like, what do you mean what I'm doing here? Because one thing I know, you're not my supervisor, so I don't know why you're questioning it. I know people have been asking us to be in the area, patrol the area multiple times. So why are you questioning it? Then she says something to the effect of, I don't think you belong here. And I'm still confused. I'm like, what do you mean that I don't belong here? And at this point, when she says something to that effect, her husband is like, honey, I think we should go. He, again, sees that I'm a police officer and says, I think that we should go. And then she starts pulling the reins or the leashes of the dogs to, I guess, to agitate them. Like I'm supposed to be afraid of it. But it still does not click. Like, what is this woman trying to get at? And then she says, this is what she says when I realized, she thought I was something that I wasn't. She said, if you don't leave the area, I'm going to call the police. I then start laughing. Now, again, my lights are fully on. I'm in a fully marked vehicle. I'm in a full uniform. And all that this woman, it hits me. All that this woman can see is that I'm a black female in an area that she does not think that I belong in. This woman was so, I want to say it, she was so racist that she didn't realize that I was there to protect her and the people that were around her. Her husband realized it immediately after I turned on the lights why I was there, but she could not. She says, I'm going to call the police. And then I start laughing. I was like, well, if you call them, then they'll be already here. She goes, what do you mean? And then that's when her husband says, honey, she's a cop. And then you can just see all the blood rushing, and even though it was at night, all the blood rushing from her face from embarrassment. And I'm telling you this story because that's kind of why I don't want to go back to the States. They don't see the big picture. The world now is very much global, and the things that some people, and y'all know what I'm talking about, some people are trying to do just to keep others out from others flourishing and others having a positive outcome in this life. They're trying to shut them down, but they don't see the big picture. You're going to try to shut down the same people that are making the world a global community. You're going to try to shut down the people that built the economy of what it is today, because you're so blindsided on somebody that's different from you. Excuse me. You're so blindsided on somebody that's different than you that you're willing to shut them down. Willing to shut them down so much that it's probably going to hurt you in the long run. And that's kind of why I don't want to go back. That's my reason for leaving in the first place. But that's kind of why I don't want to go back. I'm kind of a little apprehensive of going back because in the couple of days that I'm going to be there, it's going to be a lot of drama. And I just don't want to feel that drama. I love my peace here in Mexico. And I can't foresee it getting better anytime soon in the United States. So that's my story time, that's my reasoning, and that's my rant for the day. JoJo is out. Deuces.